You were taught to trust people until they give you a reason not to. That belief has cost you more than you know. The money you lent that never came back. The partner who looked you in the eye and rewrote history. The business associate who smiled through every meeting while building the exit behind your back. These were not random betrayals. They were predictable. You were simply never given the tools to read them. Most people live in the graveyard of good intentions. They assume honesty because they are honest. They assume loyalty because they are loyal. They project their own psychology onto others and call it trust. What they are actually doing is leaving themselves exposed on a battlefield they refuse to acknowledge exists. This is the desert of the real, and in it the sleepers are not resting. They are bleeding. Every day you spend unable to read deception is a day someone else is writing the terms of your life. Your career, your relationships, your reputation, the strings are already attached. The question is whether you see them or not. We're not here to make you paranoid. We're here to make you precise. There is a difference between suspicion and surgical precision. Suspicion is fear wearing a mask. Precision is leverage. It is the ability to sit across from someone, watch them perform their version of the truth, and know exactly what they are hiding before they finish their sentence. By the end of this, you will not need to guess. You will read the architecture of deception in real time, not because you became darker, because you became awake. The sleepers will call this cynicism, let them. Sign number 1, the overcalibrated story, the psychological theory. Cognitive load research shows that lying requires significantly more mental effort than telling the truth. When someone fabricates a story, their brain is running 2 processes at once, constructing the false narrative and monitoring your reaction to it. To compensate for this load, liars over-prepare. They add unnecessary detail. They volunteer information you did not ask for. They fill silence with elaboration. This is called narrative padding, and it is one of the most consistent behavioral signatures of deception identified across multiple studies in forensic psychology. The Machiavellian application. Train yourself to ask simple, direct questions and then go completely silent. Watch what fills the vacuum. A person telling the truth answers and stops. A person managing a lie keeps going. They add context you did not request. They circle back to details they already covered. They say things like, "And I want to be completely transparent with you," or, "Honestly, the truth is." Notice that honest people rarely announce their honesty. They simply speak. When you hear over-elaboration, do not react. Do not signal that you noticed. File it. Ask a follow-up question on a small detail from the middle of their story, not the beginning or end. Liars rehearse the start and finish. The middle is where the armor cracks. If the detail shifts, you have your answer. Now you hold the leverage. You decide what to do with it. The warning. This is a detection tool, not a weapon to destroy people with. Knowing someone is lying gives you options. Confrontation is only one of them, and often the weakest one. Sovereignty means you choose your response with a clear head, not a cortisol spike. Sign number 2, the mismatched exit, the psychological theory. Paul Ekman's foundational research on microexpressions identified that the face and body operate on separate channels. The conscious mind controls language. The autonomic nervous system controls the body. When someone lies, their words are managed, but their physiology leaks. One of the most reliable leakage points is what happens after the lie is delivered. The liar's body begins to exit the emotional state before the conversation warrants it. Relief floods the system too early. This produces what behavioral analysts call a mismatched exit. The story ends in distress, but the body relaxes. The Machiavellian application: watch the moment after someone finishes a difficult explanation. If their story ends on a serious or emotional note, their body should reflect that weight for at least a few seconds. Grief does not disappear the moment the sentence ends. Stress does not evaporate on cue. If you see the shoulders drop, the jaw unclench, or a micro-expression of relief cross the face before the emotional content of the story would logically resolve, you are watching someone exit a performance. To sharpen this, introduce a pause after they finish. Say nothing for 3 to 5 seconds. Watch what the body does in that vacuum. A person in genuine distress stays in it. A person who finished performing starts to settle. That settlement is your signal. You now see the strings. Do not pull them yet. Catalogue what you observed and adjust your position accordingly. The warning. Body language is data, not proof. Use it to inform your strategy, not to accuse. One signal means nothing. A cluster of signals across a conversation means you are looking at a pattern. Patterns are where the real autopsy begins. Sign 3. The identity. Anchor. The psychological theory. Research in social psychology shows that people under deceptive pressure instinctively reach for identity-based statements to deflect scrutiny. Instead of addressing the specific claim, they reframe the conversation around who they are. I have never lied to anyone in my life. You know me, I would never do that. After everything I have done for you. This is called identity anchoring. It is a cognitive redirect designed to shift your focus from the verifiable facts of the situation to the unverifiable content of their character. It works on people who trust feelings over evidence. The Machiavellian application. When someone responds to a factual question with a character statement, treat it as a red flag, not a reassurance. Bring the conversation back to specifics with surgical precision. Ask for dates, names, sequences, receipts. Do it calmly. Do it without accusation. Frame it as you simply needing to understand the full picture. Watch how they respond to the return to specifics. A person with nothing to hide moves back into detail without resistance. A person managing deception will escalate the identity anchor. They will become more emotional. They will invoke loyalty, history, or sacrifice. The escalation itself is the tell. The louder the character defense, the weaker the factual position underneath it. Now you know where you stand. You operate from that knowledge, not from their performance. The warning. Some people use identity anchoring out of genuine hurt, not deception. Context matters. The goal is accuracy, not suspicion. You're building a clearer picture of reality, not prosecuting everyone who raises their voice. You now see something most people will go their entire lives without seeing. That is not a comfortable gift. Awareness at this level changes how you move through every room, every conversation, every relationship. You will notice things you cannot unknow. You will read subtext in silence. You will see the strings. The vulgar crowd calls this paranoia. They call it cynicism. They say it must be exhausting to think this way. What they mean is that they are not ready to leave the graveyard of good intentions. That is their choice. Yours is different now. You do not operate from survival. You operate from sovereignty. Every interaction becomes a battlefield you read clearly, not one you stumble through hoping for the best. If this is the level you want to operate at, subscribe. Every week we go deeper into the architecture of human behavior, leverage, and strategic awareness. For those who want what the algorithm does not surface, the link below takes you further. The strategies there are not for everyone. They were not designed to be. You are. Awake now, move accordingly.